Hey guys, welcome back to The Human Condition. I want to start off this video by saying thank you guys so much for all the support and all my recent videos. I really appreciate it. I can't express how much it means to me. Also, thank you for all the commenters out there if you're watching. I really appreciate it. All the nice feedback is really is awesome to hear all the nice feedback. I really appreciate it a lot. Also, just for watching in general, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And in this video, we'll be talking about this will be another astrology video. This is probably my 5th video in the segments, and this one is what does it mean to be a Leo moon? So yeah, a Leo. What is it? A Leo moon is the 5th, like I talked about in the last video, the 5th on the emotional maturity chart. Doesn't mean necessarily like immature or mature. It just means basically how outgoing. Like in the last videos, I was talking about how like each level, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you notice they're more outgoing usually. Not always, but more like other oriented. So Leo is actually almost right in the middle. It's almost right in the halfway point. So there's 12 like signs, you know. So with Leo, it's fire sign, meaning self-oriented, and it's interpersonal, so one-on-one. So Leo represents creative expression and confidence. So when you have that in your moon sign, which is your comfort, your past, home, and family, it symbolizes that in your family dynamic, like I talked about last video, the relationship with your mom. Potentially, there was they instilled a lot of confidence in you, but maybe so much confidence that you don't have to rely on other people. Like very high confidence, which is good. But sometimes a little overconfidence, but that's okay. Overconfidence is better than no confidence, I guess. I don't know, but very high confidence, sometimes over, but very confident people and expressive people. That's how the relationship with their mom might have been like a little bit of fiery dynamic, like a passion, like kind of like I talk about Aries, you know, but instead with Aries, there's not a need to differentiate. It's actually like a lot like maybe the mother figure a little bit, or like a little bit like the father figure actually, because Leo is the sign of father, so that could be like a lot like the father figure usually, and or not a need to really differentiate from the mom as much as Aries does. Need for independence, Aries, put that in the moon sign with mother, differentiate. With Leo, its moon, its ruler is sun. So to see what kind of Leo moon you are, you'd have to check your sun sign. For example, your sun Aries, sun Virgo, it really change the different type of Leo moon sign you are. Same with the Taurus moon, same with Aries moon. So for example, like if you're Leo moon with a sun in Aries, it's almost like you're kind of like a moon in Aries, because it's past home and family or comfort is in self-expression and ego and confidence. Self-expression, ego, and confidence is in self and in passions. So it's almost like emotions, past and home, and comfort is in passions too. That makes sense. So you got, it's like a little trail, and then you gotta see what sun your house your sun's in. But that's a video we'll talk about later down the road about like ascendants, and that's gonna be a cool video. I'm really excited for that one, because it tells a lot about. It's almost like a person's lifestyle, almost like a lot. Sometimes life experiences, but it could just be coincidences, obviously. But it's pretty cool to see those coincidences play out in life. From observations, I did the observations last video for Cancers. So observations I could make for Leos. Very confident people, very one-on-one. They want to get to know you, not in a group setting, but a one-on-one setting, which is cool. They sometimes clash with Taurus because they feel like they can't really get to them, because Taurus, like I said, was the support group, the squad, you know, so they sometimes feel like they clash with Taurus because they feel like they can't reach them, and that can aggravate them sometimes. But overall, square aspects, even though they sometimes conflict, actually do really well together. They actually provide benefits from each other once they get through all the conflict. They can actually help each other grow a lot and actually need each other the most out of all the other, can help each other grow the most if they can get through conflicts. And they always have to deal with each other because that's how square aspects are. It's like you can't avoid it almost in a way. Leo's opposite is Aquarius. So Aquarius moon would be the complete opposite of confidence usually, but very humble, very societal, very outgoing, but also less emotional and less charitable or charismatic and generous as Leo, if that makes sense. For example, Leo's kind of like the heart, whereas Aquarius is like the humanitarian in the mind, kind of. So Leo cares a lot, feels a lot. Moons care a lot and feels a lot usually, whereas not that Aquarius doesn't, but they're a little more emotionally detached, but they have to be so humanitarian and caring for other people, if that makes sense. To be society oriented, you have to be a little emotionally detached so you can make the tough decisions sometimes. And that's what Aquarius moon kind of represents, but they're still overall caring. Leo, on the other hand, is more about their personal connections they have with each other, less about society as a whole. They really care about the personal connections, the one-on-one, especially personal connections they have with people. Some people that have this, I'll put them up here soon. Like some people that have Leo moon signs. I can't think of any at the moment. So last sign they conflict with would probably be Scorpio. Scorpio, just because Scorpio is a sign of interpersonal emotions and like sympathizing, empathy, and Leo is just interpersonal expressions and doesn't really want to get emotionally deep, kind of like Aries. So that's kind of the conflict there. And Scorpio, when we get to Scorpio, I wouldn't say they're chaotic, but they're opposite of the peace-oriented, group-oriented Taurus. So because they're so emotion-based, their natural comfort, they don't mind chaos a little bit because they like the expression of emotions. They rather have people expressing how they feel, even if it causes a little chaos, rather than have people not express what they feel. And that can sometimes be seen as like a chaos oriented person or chaos agent, but really it's just because they care about people's emotions. Even though the chaos agent in a way, but they care about people's emotions, and that's why they sometimes cause a little chaos unintentionally, not even on purpose sometimes, most of the time. They just want to figure out how you truly feel about stuff. So Leo forces, also Scorpio is pretty mysterious when it comes to actual like self and like passions and like Aries, Scorpio, and like stuff like that. So they get aggravated by having to express that self side of them because they're secretive in that regard. Where Leo kind of forces people to express themselves one-on-one. Scorpio gets kind of aggravated by that. The same way how like Leo gets aggravated by not being able to reach Taurus because it's a support group, they can't reach him one-on-one. Scorpio gets aggravated by the fact that they have to share more than just the emotional depth. They have to share like less emotion stuff, just more about themselves stuff, and not regards to emotions. So those are the aspects Leo makes. So Taurus, they feel like they can't reach them all the time, but they still like them and they want to hang out with them. It's just they feel like there's always a disconnect, and Taurus doesn't understand that. And Taurus is like, why don't you just join the group? And even when Taurus hangs out with Leo one-on-one, sometimes there can be a miscommunication because Taurus feels like they're sharing everything they can, but Leo feels like they want to know more about them. But Taurus is maintaining the peace, so Leo gets annoyed by that because to maintain the peace, you don't share much about your actual self, right? So that's a conflict between Taurus. Peace, sometimes not expressing oneself, and all the time. Sometimes they do. Leo, always expression, no matter if it causes chaos or not. Similar to Scorpio, but Scorpio express emotions. Leo express your confidence, what gives you your passions, what you like to learn. Similar to Aries and similar to Sagittarius. Kind of like the two combined, basically. What else can I talk about Leo? What else does it mean to be a Leo? Yeah, I think that's it. There are the 5 in emotional maturity. I'll definitely prop up some people that have Leo moons. they get along with other fire signs, except sometimes they clash. And honestly, they do better with earth signs. Oh, yeah, they sometimes do better with earth signs because fire signs, even though they should get along, the self-confidence sometimes make their have fiery arguments, and like kind of, even though they should, when they don't get along, there's fiery arguments usually, and they separate from each other. So sometimes they'll get along better with earth signs, even though there's still some aggravations. And when earth signs don't get along with each other, they usually just go separate ways. They don't like argue or fiery as much. And yeah, so that's all the Leo moon stuff. Leo, basically, it's an conclusion. It's your confidence. It's your comfort and your emotions come from self-confidence and expressing yourself. Different from Aries, because Aries is just existing, but Leo feels like they have to express themselves one-on-one with people. That's why it's higher on the emotional maturity chart, and it goes higher than Taurus because it's more other-oriented, I guess, in a way. Not completely, but in a way. Gemini is still a little more, instead of sharing my own opinions, Leo relies on the feedback. They want the feedback. Gemini likes feedback, but really just wants to share opinions as well. Mainly, Cancer expressing emotions, but doesn't really rely on the feedback maybe as much, similar to Gemini, but Leo relies on the feedback. So yeah, this was my Leo, what does it mean to be a Leo moon? I hope you guys like this. As always, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.